That's a fact.
But what's good, dude?
Shit, another day, another dollar.
I love it.
The usual. I gotta get a hoodie. I gotta get a merch brand for another day, another dollar at this point.
I
say
like
it
that.
every day. I say it all the time.
You know I do too.
Creating one, and I think I'm gonna get one that says another day, another dollar.
Wow.
Because I only really wear sweatsuits. Like,
I know.
Every day.
I know.
So I have a couple that have the brand for the other podcast. So I think I'm gonna just get. They're only like $40. So
do it. What another day, another dad.
Yeah.
A dad.
Yeah, that could be on the pant.
I like that. It's funny because I do that too. When I used to run more than I run now, I would like do a motivational story and be like, another day, another dollar, be better today, even better tomorrow, make history, not excuses, and have a day.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah. So we're on the same page, bro.
A lot of people, I feel like they get too, I don't know, they get too caught up in everything else when that's really all it is, just another day, and just got to figure out how you're going to earn a dollar that day.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Or
is money what motivates you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Through and throughout.
Through and throughout.
Where does that come from?
I don't know. Because I don't know. I feel like it was like when I was young, and I'm still kind of young, you know what I mean? But when I was like 13 or 14, my dad was always self-employed when he was growing up. Or not growing up. I mean, he's 60. He's always been self-employed since he was 18. And when I would, on the weekends when I was like 13 or 14, I used to go on the van with him, and I feel like that really like it changed my perspective. Like, all right, most people, the path is, and most people, what I would say probably 70% of America is taught is like, you go to high school, you get your college degree, you go get a job, you know what I mean? And you go, you get paid every week, and what you get paid is what you get paid. Your yearly salary is your yearly salary, and the only way you're going to increase or decrease that is by doing better at the job or worse at the job. Whereas I feel like I was at a young age, I was exposed to like, all right, because when you're at the house, like even if you have a self-employed parent and you don't join them in the workforce, like you'll never really see the difference between the whole weekly paycheck thing and like, all right, like we have to go out today, and like he's an electrician, so it's like, we have to wire this house today, and if we don't complete this house wiring, I don't get paid, and if I don't get paid, we don't have food on the table. And I feel like I was really just like put on to that at a very young age, to the point where you're really in more control of your life than most people think.
You are
being able to know like, all right, like you could always, the job will always be there, but if I was able to, like I did, take a leap, when I was 18 and try and figure it out, I just felt like I was better poised where I was in control of my paycheck, even if that means that some weeks are better than others, and some months are better than others, and some quarters are better than others. You know what I mean? But a lot of the times I feel like most people don't really get that deep into it to understand that there is another side, and it is a lot more possible than most people think it is to be self-employed. It's just about getting up every day and doing the best that you can, and
there's a rush about it too.
Yeah, there is.
There's a rush. It's a different rush.
Yeah, to know like, all right, like, we're either going to have a great month or we're not, and it's on me either way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what I feel like really opened my eyes a little bit, was just being on the van with him on the weekends, and then in the summer it was every day, and I mean, it was just really like, damn, like, this is another way to live, where I could, obviously I couldn't be further from an electrician, but I still took the same thoughts, and like, all right, I have to manage my client relationships, and even a lot of like, just generally, like, and I always relate it to accounting, because like when that was what I went to school for when I did my, my college stint. And there was this in accounting, there's these rules called the GAAP, the generally accepted accounting principles. And it's like, that's just how it is with anything. Like, there's just generally accepted rules within the industry. And if you can figure out how to play by those rules and keep the customer happy, then you can do whatever you want. And the rest can kind of just make sense, Yeah.
Well, you said 18, you took a leap. What was the leap?
Moving out here.
And you're from?
Massachusetts.
Boston area?
North Attleboro.
Where's that?
In Rhode Island, Massachusetts border.
Okay, gotcha.
You know where Foxborough is?
Yeah, of course.
It's 20 minutes from the stadium.
Yeah, I'm a Jets fan. I hate Foxborough, but I don't really care actually anymore. Jets suck.
Patriots suck now too.
They do, but you got a handful of them.
Yeah,
I got nothing, bro. I'm a Jet Met Knicks fan, so that's a
tough dynasty. I don't even follow sports, and I know that's a tough dynasty.
If you put all my years together, that's 105 years of sports between the three teams.
Yeah,
0 championships.
Wow.
So I've kind of given up.
Yeah, in a way.
But I will make sure to celebrate hard when it happens.
Right. Because
I deserve it.
And even just being alive for as many years as I've been alive and you've been alive. Like we start to see it, you know what I mean? Like, you know, every team has their time, you know.
Correct.
It's the Patriots' time. Now it's like the Chiefs' time and the Eagles' time. And then like in 5 more years, those teams will suck. The good players will be all moved somewhere else. There'll be new young players that are better than them.
It's always in rotation. You know, you got 15 plus years though of amazing football. Yeah. And the Celtics and the Bruins and the Red Sox.
Bruins still win? No.
They won not too long ago, I think. Really? I think so. Pull the mic a little bit this way, the whole thing. Yeah, and then like that.
Point it.
Yeah, just because we're
I don't know how to point the mic.
Yeah, I know it's all right, dude. You're behind the scenes more than you are with the mic, but you've done these. You know the deal. So 18, you move out.
Yep.
And what happened? You came here?
So I came, 18, I consider going to college moving out, even though most people don't consider that moving out. But the way that I did it, like I went to college. I wasn't too far from where I grew up. It was in Massachusetts. It was like an hour drive from where I grew up. And, you know, when I moved into school, it was almost like I was at school, but like in my mind, I was not. I was no longer at school. Like I wasn't in a dorm at a school. Mm-hmm. I was in an apartment. Mm-hmm. But I was in a dorm. But the way that my mind looked at it is like, all right, this is an apartment, and it just really like. I'm somebody that once I understand how something works, I have a hard time doing it the way that most people do. You know what I mean? So
how can I work this?
Yeah, you know, like getting to college and you're like, wait a second, like. These people aren't taking attendance. They're not calling my parents.
Yeah.
I can show up or I can not show up and nothing happens. Mm-hmm. I think I went to 3 weeks of school and then I stopped. And then I lived there for 18 months and did not attend a single class.
That's funny.
Like I went, like when I first got there, like in high school, not that GPA matters, but in high school, I think I had like a 3-something GPA or whatever.
Got you to college.
Getting exactly, you know, and then I got there. You know, the first semester was like a 2-something, you know, just kind of got by, just doing whatever assignment. Because I was still trying to do the assignments, you know, without going to the class. And then, like, the next semester, I got like a 1.8, you know what I mean? And then the last semester, it was a 0.5 GPA.
Like you showed up once.
Yeah. And then it was like, and then they were like, yeah, you can't live here anymore. They were like, yeah, if you're gonna, and like at the same time, like I don't know if a lot of people know this, a lot of people don't, but like when you get student loans, at least like I don't know if it's still like this, but when I was in school, when you got student loans, you could like you told the government how much money you wanted for student loans. So if the tuition was $37,000 a year, you could tell the government, I want $45,000.
So you got an extra 8 to play with,
And I would do that every semester, and then I would go to the office, and I would just go pick up a check for like 4 or 5 or 6 grand, and then I'd be like, oh yeah, like I'm not like.
And at that age, 18, you got a few grand in your pocket.
Like, all right, I'm going to Boston, and I just started every day. I would find somebody to drive me. I would give them $20, $30, put in their tank. I'd find somebody to drive me the 20 minutes to the train station, and I would just go to Boston. And then at that time, I was taking photos, you know, and I started with the photos and everything. We were doing abandoned buildings and roofs because that was what was cool at the time. And I just really wanted to be a cool Instagram kid. That's what I thought would pay the bills. You know, obviously that doesn't pay the bills, but I thought it was going to. Yeah. And I was like, you know, all the cool photographers, they go to abandoned buildings and they go on the roofs. So every day I would just go to Maxx, I would go to Boston, and I had this friend, just as I would say, like, I don't use the word friend. I use the word friend with 3 people. He's one of the 3 people I use the word friend with. The other one is Fame, who you know, and the other one is Jeremy, who I started the college thing with. And those are the only people that I really use the word friend. Everybody else is categorized
associates,
business
peers,
associate. Peer, you know, business friend.
Yeah, I totally
there's a difference
get
between
it.
friend and business friend. Like, correct. Because I don't know. I'm going to keep going on tangents, but to finish that part of the story,
it's true.
You know, I was going and meeting up with Joe, and I would just go and stay at his house in Malden. You know, and it was just like, at this point, I'm an hour and a half away from where I grew up. So I'm like, all right, yeah, like I'm in this guy's house. Like, you know, he was my first instance, because I lived sheltered. Like, I was out going to work with my dad and everything, and learning about that and learning about self-employment. But like, I didn't drink alcohol until I was in Joe's house. I didn't smoke weed until I went to Joe's house. You know what I mean? So like,
he opened you up a little bit.
In high school, I was very sheltered. like even I went to both proms, but I didn't go to any prom parties after. Like I didn't go and do any of that. I wasn't the type of kid that was at, I don't know if they do that out here, but like they probably do because high school is the same everywhere. But you know, the kids will get together and drink beers on, like it was never me, you know?
Yeah,
I mean?
that was me.
So it's like, you were on the opposite. So I was the one that was not doing that. Yeah. So I then started to go here. And then that was the first time that I saw what I would consider, I don't want to, because both of his parents have passed since this happened, but like I would consider them absent parents, like the type of parents that were like, all right, yeah, like, you know, as long as you sleep here, like we don't really care what you do.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like we were like, granted, Joe was a couple of years. Joe is I think 2 years older than me. So it's like, you know, it's not like he was 22, 23, you know what I mean? So we had every legal right to drink alcohol and smoke weed in Massachusetts, but like we were doing it in his basement. His parents were upstairs, you know what I mean?
But that's a blessing at that age when you have a place to go to do it.
So you're not just like in the streets.
Correct.
You know what I mean? And that was my first time seeing like, all right, wait a second. Like this is not every home is the same, you know? So then I'm like, all right, like I'm gonna just keep coming here because these people will let me, you know, I got his mom doing my laundry. You know, it was sweet over there.
Convenient,
like Jerry really took care of us. And like I said, Jerry passed and his father, Big Joe, passed like a month or two ago. And I just went to Massachusetts to do the funeral and everything. But like, just like that was the real time, like seeing like, oh shit, like you really can just do whatever you want. You know what I mean? And that really, I think, opened my eyes to like, all right, yeah, like that was it. Like I'm at his house now. I live here. You know what I mean?
So what turned, all right, it's like doing anything you want, because you kind of translated that into your life too. Yeah. But where was the okay, I can do anything I want, but it's going to be quote unquote unproductive.
Correct.
To I can do it anything I want and make it productive. So like when was that moment?
That was when the photos and everything. When too many people started doing the abandoned building stuff and it became a little saturated, it segued into music photography. And that was my first exposition to the music industry. And then, you know, same thing. I was, my reality was skewed at this point because like everything that I'm saying, like I'm seeing things in bits and pieces, you know what I mean? So I'm still, at this point, I still have never been to a project, you know what I mean? I haven't seen anything of that nature. Now I'm like, all right, like music photography, like this seems cool. Like, you know, obviously, like I said, I'm looking on Instagram. These kids look like they're getting fucking paid. We all know now that they're not, you know what I mean?
Crazy,
but
bro.
like, you know, these kids look like they're getting paid. So I'm like, all right, this is interesting. So I get kicked out of school and they switch me to online. They're like, hey, you know, get your GPA to a two or above, 2 or better. You know what I mean? You can come back and live here. So I didn't sign into the online class once, but my parents at this point, they think I'm in school still. Like they wholeheartedly think I'm living in Nichols College.
You're milking
like,
it. Yeah.
They dropped me off in the fall for my last semester and I was picked up that day to go to Malden. Like I didn't have a dorm to move into. Like I made some excuses. I got dropped off. You know, I had my stuff. I let one of my people let me fake move into his room or whatever. Like the whole thing was a facade. So now I'm really like, I'm playing chess at not a high level, but I'm
at that age it's pretty high.
And I'm winning. So I'm like, all right, like now what? You know, so now the music photography starts because actually, somebody that I just saw yesterday, he just came to my office and checked it out. It was my friend Brian, had Famous Dex and Rich the Kid coming to Pawtucket for a show at this venue called the Met. And they let me take pictures. So I'm like, all right, like, that's my first concert experience. Like, this is interesting. Like, this is cool. Like, you know, I'm getting the experience of like the fan approaching me like, oh, do you like work with them? Like, and I'm like, oh, like this feels cool. You know what I mean? Like, all right, like this is what I want to do now. Like, I want to do this. So I made it a point. I would just start finagling my way into every show possible. I got into that show technically because they hired me to photograph one of the opener slots and they let me stick around. You know, the venue was like a dingbats. There's no backstage. You know, no, like, you know, it's
one of those tour stops.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So we're just it's just a tour stop for them. You know, we're doing it, whatever. And I'm like, all right, like, this is cool. So I start doing other shows, you know, and I remember this guy, Scotty Pope, who's another local artist. He makes country music now. Almost similar like how you like started with the hip hop and you're like, this is not really me, you know what I mean? Let me make something that's more authentic to what I live, you know what I mean? And same thing, you know, he was doing that type of music. He bought a slot for Lil Yachty, you know, made no sense for the type of music he was making. But this is before I knew that. Like, I'm just thinking like, oh yeah, you're opening up for Lil Yachty. Like, this is awesome. So like, we went to the venue. venue, and you know, I remember the owner of the venue. His name is Frank. He started as a security guard. Now he owns the venue. He owns 7 venues in Rhode Island now. He does shows at Foxwoods. He does shows at the Ritz. You know what I mean? He's big promoter. He probably does 200 shows a year between all of his venues. And I remember I walked up to him, you know, I'm like, oh, this guy looks important. You know, he's got, you know, at that point I knew that having a chain meant that you were a little, and you know what I mean? I'm learning, you know, I'm learning that
so
the Rolex is, some people have the
It's a
Rolex, some
thing.
people don't.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you learn. And I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, you look like you're in charge. So I go up to him. I'm like, hey, like, you look like you're in charge. And he's like, yeah, I own the place. I'm like, perfect. I do photos. You don't have to pay me anything. Just let me come when you have these hip hop shows. And he's like, I mean, that's a winning, because he's used to having to, because the venue is in a tough spot, because the venue, they can't use the random free photographer every night, because the random free photographer sometimes doesn't deliver the right kind of product. So they're like, all right, yeah, like send me your photos after and I'll let you know if I'm interested. And I sent them to him. They were, I mean, I thought they were really good. They're really good. And he's like, all right, yeah, like you can come. And every time he had a show, every Friday, Saturday, we did Tory Lanez, we did the Locks, we did DMX, we did hella people. We did Lil Uzi. We did hundreds of people.
Wow.
Styles P, you know what I mean? Like every artist known to man. Ozuna, like before Ozuna was doing stadiums, he's doing 1,000-person rooms. Like I was doing it all. I was like, all right, this is cool. Like, and I still didn't have like the direction, you know? So
yeah. But you're in. You got your foot in the door.
Right.
Yeah.
While I was at the Famous Dex and the other show, I happened to meet the artist that, you know, I moved out here for, that I don't feel like talking about because I hate him. But, you know, I moved out, I seen him, you know, I'm like, all right, you look like you're somebody, you know, he had his chain on. I Googled his chain. His Instagram came up. He had like 700,000 followers at the time. I'm like, all right, like you don't have a single nice photo on your Instagram. So yeah, here I am. Same thing.
Yeah.
Come to Providence. You let me know when you're here. I'm coming. I'm doing your photos for free.
Yeah.
And over the course of like 7 or 8 months, you know, I'm doing concerts. I'm doing all these people with Frank. I'm doing stuff in Boston. He comes out twice. You know, he comes out. I do the photos for him. He goes back. He comes out. I do the photos for him. He comes back. The third time he came, we're a little bit more comfortable. You know how he is. He gets comfortable with people quick.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
sure.
So he now knows, and he's a user. So he now knows, I come to Providence, this is the one I can use. He'll do this for free for me. We were giving him, me and Jeremy, we started with this. Jeremy was doing the photos of me. He was giving him rides for free. You know what I mean? We were giving him photo and video free every time. So he's like, all right, yeah, these are the people I can use in this state. So the third time he comes out, he's like, oh, you know, find me a hotel, whatever. He starts getting more comfortable. So I ended up putting him in the Holiday Inn in North Attleboro, which is where I'm from, 2 minutes from the house that I grew up in. Hadn't been to town in years. Hadn't seen my parents in a while because they think I'm at school. So we're at the North Attleboro Holiday Inn. You know, I bring them to the house, you know, just to introduce them. Like, this is who I've been working with recently. Introduce them to my parents, whatever.
Were your parents shocked? Like,
they definitely.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they were not. They were not very open.
Don't you have class in like an hour?
Yeah, you know. So it was like, you know, and we left there and we went back to the Holiday Inn, and it's just like this one decision that I made. It changed everything, because he looked at me and he was like, "We're going to Atlanta tomorrow. Like, you coming?" And I was like, yeah. Like, yeah, I'm coming.
You're still kind of green though, right? So
I'm still, I still don't know anything about it.
Correct.
I went to, now in between this, he invited me down to Irvington. And I did that one day, and I'll never forget that.
What for?
Like, to take photos of him, like, and do like a photo shoot for one of his.
Brought you down to Irvington?
Yeah. So I'm
just come down to Irvington.
I don't know what Irvington is though. So I'm just getting an address.
I've been in Irvington. So I've had many of these moments where it's like, oh, just come down to.
Yeah, you know, and you come and you're like, all right. So I come, and it's me and this other kid I went to high school with, because at this point, Jeremy was in the middle of an internal struggle where he didn't know whether he wanted to full-time this or continue his degree, you know, because he had pressure from his parents in a way that I didn't, you know what I mean? Because he lived 20 minutes away from the school, so he couldn't play the game the same way that I could, because I lived all the way over here, school was all the way over here, and Malden was all the way over here. So like, he kind of couldn't really do anything, because like his parents could just drive to the school and see if his car was there.
I got you.
Whereas my parents would have to drive an hour and a half to do that. And this is before Find My iPhone, you know what I mean? So it's like, nobody knew, you know what I mean? So you know, we ended up going down to Irvington. I went with somebody else, and we got there. You know, my friend drove his dad's Audi. You know what I mean, down because his car wasn't going to make it. And we pulled it up to that Chinese food store. And he's like, "Oh yeah, they're here with me." And then they all just turned around and walked the other way. And they were like, "Yeah, we was gonna rob you. Like, we were gonna steal your car." And I was like, "Damn!" Like, I mean, it's a good thing he came out when he did. And I'm still like,
you do need a person or persons with you in those areas
exactly
that give you the validation.
I'm like, all right, like, but I'm still not like, you know, firmly grasping. I'm still not firmly grasping. Was that a joke? Like, what's going on here? Because I still haven't been put on to, like, because everybody has like a scale of what their life is worth and what they're willing to do in order to, you know, like based on what, you know, you know what I'm talking about.
I do.
And I had that's a foreign concept to me. Like, I thought everybody just, you know, followed the rules, you know what I mean? But there's some people that have accepted prison as okay. Like, that's fine. As long as if I end up there, like,
it's part of life.
It's cool. I'm alive. You know what I mean? And I'm still new to this. So I'm like, all right, whatever. So, you know, long story short, I'm just like, you know, I'm still green, but like at the same time, like understanding the type of people. And I'm like, all right, like I looked at Jeremy, I'm like, I'm getting on the van. And he's like, I think I got to go back to school. And I'm like, are you sure? Like, because he said you could come. And he's like, yeah, I'm not going to go. And I was like, all right, well, I'm getting on the van. Like, I'm going to see you when I see you. And I didn't go back to Massachusetts for like 13 months.
Wow.
Because it was just everywhere he went, I would go.
Wow.
We went to, the first trip was Atlanta to Fetty Wap's house. I slept on Fetty Wap's floor.
Wow.
First time seeing an illegal firearm. First time like just seeing that type of stuff. Like I'm like first time seeing a diamond artist. And then seeing that and that combined. I'm like, oh, like, why you're a multimillionaire? Why is there a bunch of goons at your house right now? You know what I mean? But it's like, and it's just like,
it's funny how we'll talk about that. Because I have a lot of thoughts, especially looking back in retrospect.
Like, because you kind of do the same type of, you meet them a couple times.
I've been around a lot of the similar characters, right? And it, you know, the Fetty thing is one of those interesting ones because I remember doing a show with Fetty. He had probably 20,000 followers. It was a show in Montclair.
Meat Locker?
No, this was Chill Lounge.
It's definitely not even
old. I don't know. No. It's on Bloomfield Ave, but like up towards right. And what's funny is I was bubbling a little bit, right? So I got asked to do the show, and wound up turning it down. Because it wasn't
your brand.
I was going like I had just done shows like MGK and like Waka was my brand, like the hype lit shit. So just turn it down. But I knew I'd be on stage because I passed it off to my buddies who are goons and streety and whatever. And but long story short, I remember meeting him, and I mean 20,000 followers, and Trap Queen was the hottest record in New Jersey, but hadn't blown up yet. And I remember watching his come up and seeing it all happen. And I remember listening to a lot of the records, and be like, oh my God, he's a pop star. He's a pop star. And then years would go by, and you see a lot of what he would continue to do. And I don't know, I can't speak on it to know why and this, because I'll never get in the middle of that. Everybody has their reasons, and I respect if it's for taking care of certain people or whatever. Like, I'll never get in the middle of that. But when you get an opportunity to be that, and you have an out, you have an opportunity to get out and still be able to do certain things far out. And for whatever reason, it was still a big part of his
prison.
It was. And I don't know why. I met him once.
I spent a lot of time around him. Like that trip was 2 weeks at his house on the floor. You know what I mean? Like we went on a whole tour with him. You know what I mean? That FMF tour.
But I've heard like a nice guy, like friendly,
really super
cool.
Human, you know what I mean?
I've heard.
But like, and then I would just see like, it's not him; it's the people around him.
Usually is, dude. It usually is.
You could just tell that I was just watching them like, oh, y'all burning this guy out, and they don't even know it. You know what I mean?
Well, this is their out, and he has his out, and you make a conscious decision. It's hard to tell people no. It's hard to hurt people. It's even harder to explain it in a way. Correct. And it's even harder.
You didn't before.
Yeah, and I think the hardest part is deep down, I'd imagine he knows, right? But the hardest part is saying it in a way that doesn't turn 20, 30, 40, 50 people off and against you. And saying it where it resonates, it's clear, you know, and you still root for him, you know, you have to have a lot of maturity and a lot of wisdom and a lot of like, your
Acuity.
mind, yeah, bro, to be able to have that right conversation because deep down you know that's what's right, and oftentimes you avoid it, and it's like slippery slope. Tricky, bro. It's very tricky. The hip hop industry is wild because it is a lot of people that come from the streets or come from nothing, you know, and you got a lot of people who are attaching themselves to it because that is their out.
I mean, even Orlando, the guy that I work for now, is like, you're obviously familiar with him. I mean, he used to sell crack. Like, that's just what he did. He used to sell crack, and then he inserted 300. Alley-ooped Fetty Wap over there. Didn't get shit from it because everybody knows.
I feel like anybody who is a part of that, you lose your first one.
When you're an A&R, like, and anybody that is watching this that wants to go into A&R, like, you lose your first artist. The first artist that you sign, it doesn't matter how big they get. You get no money. You get no credit. You just get the opportunity to do it again. And then that's the one that really makes it or breaks it. So his second one was, I think, PNB Rock, and that. Obviously, and then
another great one,
XXX, and then fucking Shoreline Mafia, and then all these other people that
because once you're reliable,
you know what I mean. Like then they know. Like, and now he's a
good A&R. Oh, he's a good A&R.
Yeah,
he's got 5-6 platinum selling. Yeah.
A Boogie too. You know what I mean? So it's like all these people and just he came from the streets. You know what I mean?
So I've come to find, right, because the music industry is a big industry. So there's various different markets and genres, right? So this isn't one. It's not just one way, but we both come from hip hop.
Yeah.
And one thing I realized in the hip hop realm is that you got a lot of street people who became executives. And so doing business with the executives is doing business with a street person, but the money is not through, drugs or streets or whatever it is. It's through publishing and this. It's no different how they navigate their business. And that's the trickiest part to me about hip hop because the contracts are fucked. I think it's a very tough industry to crack.
Frank told me this, the guy that owned the venue. He was we were just talking about, over the years we always just have conversations. I call him once every 6 months. Like, I would consider him at this point, what he does and what I do could nothing to do with each other. So I don't really would consider him a mentor at this point because he's not like he does shows, you know what I mean? I don't, so, but still somebody that I just look up to, and value my connection with. And I check in with him every once in a while. He always would tell me like, hip hop has the lowest barrier to entry. Like, you need to use it to go get somewhere else. You know what I mean? Because they'll
exposure, really, brand awareness.
Do hip hop. You know what I mean? Because and even when you get a job at a record label, the first department they put you in is the urban department. You can figure it out there. You can figure it out anywhere. If you can't figure it out there, we don't want you.
Well, because the other genres are
super competitive
and legitimate business. Different, buttoned up, clean, your image.
And not even just that. Like, I feel like there's a certain hustle that comes with like just the dealing with those types of individuals that like it's a 24/7 hustle where like that is like very strict Monday through Friday, 9 to 5,
scheduled,
bank holidays.
Be off. Here.
Don't call me at 5:30.
Correct.
Don't call me before 9. I don't. It's we did 30 minutes. Like, I have another call. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just a different level, whereas a lot of the guys, like, a hip-hop artist, he could be a multi-platinum selling act and he wakes up at 5 p.m. You know what I mean? And it's like,
often.
And it's just okay. Because if I were to ask you what makes you like a song, you would not be able to answer the question because nobody can answer that question.
No, because
you could say, I like fast beats or whatever.
I like, for one, I like everything. For me, it's the feeling. There's times I hear a song and I have no idea who the person is.
And you just like the song.
I just really like the song. Like, it just hit, and everybody's different, but like it strikes a chord. Like, it hits something.
That's why the shit sucks. Because you can't, like, when you're in my position, there's 100% a ceiling. I am at the ceiling. I am not going to get any bigger than I am. I'm not going to make any more money. I'm not going to get any more power until something I touch goes platinum. And then when that happens, I'll enter the Orlando layer.
You're a hustler.
Yes.
And I mean that in a respectful way. Like, you grind, not like you.
I go to the office 7 days a week. I would be at the office here.
But you post in the mornings. Like, there's moments, I'll give you the buck. There's moments that I see because I'm up early too. And I see them like, I love that shit.
Yeah. Me
because
too.
you talk about like, people hit me up all the time when I wake up in the morning. I'm at the gym and shit because they need it.
Yeah.
And even if it's between us.
Yeah.
Because
that's like, I seen a story today and it made me
needed that. You know? Right? So I see you, bro. And I think what I'm gathering again is like, because you want to continue to advance, because you're motivated and you want to get further as far as you can take it in life. And you've really have come far. Yeah. Right? If you like, you should be nothing but proud of
a year.
Yeah, bro. You should be nothing but proud of yourself.
Absolutely.
It's Now you're seeing it for what it's worth and saying, how do I take that next leap?
And the only way that I'm going to do that is by trimming down the amount of people that I deal with. It is,
but you're going to sacrifice what might be dollars quick to be able to streamline
focus more on the people. And then it really, like, it wouldn't bother me, like, if it was like, you know, and I don't know, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but like with your sales experience, like, I would assume that you sell the product, and then once you sell the product, it's kind of not your responsibility anymore.
Usually it's passed off to a manager.
I don't have that.
No, I have a couple thoughts on this, dude. So what I think, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm just I'm going off of what it is you're saying and what I believe the kind of person you are at the same time, right? So I think you have a good heart. I think you want to help people, right?
I do. Yeah. That's the only reason that I service them.
Exactly. And it's the only reason you continue to put yourself in the positions that you're saying
if not,
become a headache.
The only
for
option for $150 besides me is a fucking scam. If somebody that's going to take your $150 and go on bulk follows,
correct,
and buy 5,000 YouTube views,
it's
for 50
just in
cents.
the pocket.
You know that.
I do. I know the game. I've been beat before in the past, so I know the game.
That's what you're up against.
Correct.
If you don't deal with me.
Correct. No, you do good business. When it comes to business, I mean, I've seen a lot of people funnel through you, and nobody ever says anything but positive things because you deliver on what you say.
0% complete policy. But it's like, if you knew the amount of hours that I have to spend to have that.
Well, here's my other side.
Yeah.
My other side is, and this is from me to you, as somebody who we're talking now, forget who's listening.
Yeah.
I think you make yourself too available.
That is exactly the problem. You know, and I honestly, like, it's so interesting that we're having this conversation, and this is like, I'm looking like, I feel like Tony Soprano right now, you know what I mean? Like, I don't really like even when I do a lot of podcasts, like, I'm doing them with people that and I'm not saying that you don't or you do, because I really don't care if you do or don't, but most people that I do these podcasts with hold me on a pedestal, you know what I mean? And they look at me as like somebody that can bring them influence and whatever because of who I am and what I do.
Yeah.
I don't usually get to have conversations with somebody that, you know, I'm not saying you don't care about me from a can of paint, but like, we're not having this conversation because you think I'm some super music mogul. You know what I mean?
Listen, I'm having this conversation with you because I'm interested in who you are and I don't know who you are. And that's the whole point of this podcast. Exactly. It's like, I have a great network, and it's people in the music industry, it's businessmen, it's police officers.
This is what we were talking about outside.
I'm interested in people, and I have these conversations with various different people, and I decided I want to put it on camera.
Exactly.
That's literally what it is. So
that's why it's gonna work.
Yeah, and that's what I hope, bro. And I'm not even. This is a passion project that listen. I know what the potential of it is.
Yeah,
but
I have a podcast. It doesn't make money. You lose money every month here.
You don't make money. You don't. But I have ideas as to where I want to go with it. I have ideas as to what I want it to be as far as representing who I am as an individual. I've been looking for an identity for a really long time in this creative space without it always being helping somebody else and getting shit for it. Like, you know, so yeah, I do.
It's an availability thing for sure.
It is. I look at you and I say to myself, like, when we sat down in your office, when I first checked out your space, like, I watched you from a distance for a minute. I watched you when I was
doing the photos,
and when I was popping off, when I was in Jersey and moving around and was around a lot of the artists you work with now. Like, I was out in these streets.
Yeah.
So when I see new people, I'm always intrigued as to where do they come from or what do they do. To see you go from how I met you maybe once back then, and watch you come up, and then when I sit in your office, what's intriguing to me is the how.
Yeah.
What did you do to get there? That is always something, no matter what money you make or whatever. Like, I like seeing people that get after it. I like understanding the why. I like to know what makes people tick.
And that's been it. Has been 24/7 availability, even if it kills me. You know what I mean? And it's like, because you know what it is for me. It's a true, like, I care way too much about what people say about me behind closed doors. So the reason why I'll answer a text message any time of the night, any time of the day, the reason why I'll answer a phone call any time of the day, even if it hurts something that I have going on, family, relationship, etc., is because I can't have anybody tell, I called him, he didn't answer the phone. Like, that shit, because when people say that to me, that's one of the people, like, and this is part of the thing, is like, I also rooted a lot of my business growth in what is wrong with the guy you're using right now. Oh, he never answers the phone. What's wrong with the guy you use? Oh, he charges.
So you filled a void for a lot of.
All right, like, people's biggest complaint is ultimately, when it comes down to it, is that I paid him. He was talking to me every day before I paid him, and then I paid him and I can't get him to answer the phone.
Yeah.
That's what everybody says. That's everybody's biggest complaint, is that, oh yeah, he was all up my ass to get the payment, and then the day I paid him, I have not heard from him since.
Yeah.
So I now have just been You know, because you are what you hear and you are what you surround yourself with. So I've just constantly surrounded myself with these complaints. And I'm like, all right. So that means that
you become the reliable
The
one.
only way I'm not going to get complained about is if every time somebody calls that
you're reliable.
That it's an answer.
You're reliable, but you've created a reliability in a place that respectfully, and this is not to put anybody down, that you are at this point as a businessman beyond.
Yeah.
And that's just the truth.
Yeah, that's the problem.
And I listen, how you want to serve people is how you want to serve people. Like there is, if that's part of what makes you happy, being that person for people. And I think what I'm gathering again is that you're just getting to that point. Like, I think there's one of two options. It's either you start removing yourself from it to some extent and go into a space where you have a smaller list of people that you work with, or you get yourself an assistant who handles all your stuff for you. But now, are they going to be reliable? And
that was the problem. Like, I've had probably 30 employees over the years, and I like, same thing. I try and, but like everybody else, it all boils down to the fact that they all end up, even if
you need a young you.
Talk to this person. And it always ends up with, yo, bro, I hit your man's up yesterday. He ain't get back to me yet.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, I guess I'll just do it myself.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And then
you need a young you, though. You need somebody who has that same.
Right.
It's tough nowadays.
And you want to know what I found, though, and why and what's really sparking what I think will be the end of complete and total availability will be exactly that. Like, I found people that are like that, but they don't do what I do. They shoot videos. You know what I mean? So now it's like, I'm having more fun with the video kids that I've moved in, kids that are younger than me, 22, 21, 24.
Yeah.
I'm 28, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just like, and then being able to like I moved these kids in that do videos. They did, in 2023, they did like $18,000 in videos the whole year.
Yeah.
And since they've gotten with me, we've done like $72,000 in videos.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been a full year yet. They'll probably do $100,000 in their first year with me. And that's a 5X.
Yeah,
you know what
that's
I mean?
huge.
And and I've been able to see them, like see Corey specifically, the guy from Wave Change, like go from being able to shoot 3 videos a month and being extremely stressed out the entire way through, because he hates doing business. I enjoy doing business. The problem is that the way I've been doing the business with having 100, because there's most months I serve 150 people, sometimes 200. And we've had the conversation 10 times in the past year. And every time you call me, it's to figure out how you can change your life with minimal effort, minimal money, and minimal time.
Man,
it's just delusional.
It's delusional. It is delusional.
And the videos is so easy. Because I can talk to a person and be like, yo,
and it's a
I
service.
just want my video to look like this.
It's not even just a service any different than that. It's just, it is
different, though.
It's different. It's a different kind of.
The difference between me running somebody's YouTube ad and their expectation, whether I tell them or not, is that they're going to run this ad and blow up.
Yeah.
No matter what I tell them, no matter what happens, they think they're going to spend this money on this marketing and their career path is going to drastically change. The video expectation is I'm going to get a good video. And that's it. There's no like we've sold music videos and artists have posted them and they're sitting at 200 views and they don't call us and ask, why is my video at 200 views? They say, I love this fucking video. When can I come do another one?
Yeah. And
that's the only thing that's going to move.
And you're in a weird place too, because you got your clientele is you have a lot of people that live in where your clientele.
80% of the people that I deal with spend $125.
Yeah, and there's a lot of those. So you know how to spread that, make it make sense. What's going to get tricky is the people that are spending more money are usually whose hands are already in the pot.
Right.
Who are they already working with? Because they're at a level that they're got to be doing something with somebody. So you also got to A&R and find somebody who they're like, oh my God, I got one. They have no manager. They have no this. They have no that. They got a little bit of a budget. And they have a budget.
You know?
Like that's
and that's what I need, because that person, because if I look at the trajectory of the company that I built, from in 2020, I moved into the building in 2020 in a room that was no bigger than this. 2020. And every year we expanded. We got 5,000 square feet now as of last month when I grabbed another room.
You got a big space, bro.
Yeah. And it's even bigger since the last time you went. And it's like, that's what it's going to be, is like, all right, we're doing all this stuff. Why? And that's what I was saying. Like, the biggest things that have changed a trajectory in the past 5 years have been when something I've done has succeeded. And every time something I've done has succeeded, it's allowed me to level the business up.
Yeah.
So, you know, for example, one of the first things that took it from point A to point B was obviously what I did here in New Jersey. And that was what I used to start and say, I know what I'm doing because I was involved with this situation for the past 20 years. And that happened. Yeah. You know, and I ended up working with, you know, a couple artists that had closed a couple small deals, like, you know, those little $30,000 deals.
Yeah,
and I'm like, all right, you know, we've gotten a couple of these done. I can leverage those.
Yeah.
And then what really did it, though, was the artist, his name is Sal Nolakin, and he got signed to Orlando. And, you know, type of person that I am, you put me in front of somebody like Orlando, I'm going to make a way. You know what I mean? So I approached Orlando, and I said, this was back in probably February of 2023, maybe 2022, to be honest, because it's been a couple of years since I've been with Orlando and over there doing this stuff. And it's like, this is crazy. Like, now I'm in, I hadn't been near a major label since I quit working for him. And I assumed the general manager position of his label. And now it's like, I would be stupid to continue to spend my time with people that spend $125 a month when now I have access to this label that has a 6-figure marketing budget every month. And granted, I'm not making money on the budget like I would. Like, if a client gives me money, I take a portion of it.
Yeah, because you're gonna get some. It's gonna be
exactly.
Skim.
I'm with the business of general manager,
Correct.
so now I'm anti.
But there's stability.
Exactly.
You got like, okay, this is what I'm getting. Month to month, year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, it's a 5-figure type of deal.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
But
so
at least you have a baseline foundation.
I'm like, all right, like, why? I got Wave Change. We're killing it.
Yeah.
5X in 1 year. I get paid from that. They pay part of the rent. We're doing 30 music videos a month. We got that. I got general manager of LLC4 Records. Why am I going to keep serving people for $120?
You got to decide.
You know,
you have to make
decided.
I think I'm hearing
it's just the day. I just don't know when I'm going to do it.
You got it.
It's going to happen.
And figure out your best approach and do it in a way.
And I've already been slowly whittling people away.
Yeah.
Like, you know, because a lot of the times, like, these people are so inconsistent in their own lives that if you just like, you know, I'm a master at like getting rid of somebody without telling them like I'm no longer dealing with you. Because even when I make this change, I will never tell somebody you don't have enough money to deal with me.
Of course.
Because that's fucked up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But what I will do is like over time, like you send me a text, I responded to you in 10 minutes. Well, I'm going to respond to this text in 20 minutes. And then the next one you send, I'm going to take 30 minutes. Then the next one, an hour, and then 2 hours. Then eventually it's weeks in between responses and they just stop calling me. You know what I mean? Because and then that's how I've probably eliminated 25% of the 150, probably like 30 people in the past couple of months, just that way. Like, just like, I used to answer you every you answer, somebody texts me right now, I'll text you back right now. And then it's like, let's add some distance, and eventually they just stop calling.
You can't be so accessible.
Yeah, and that's what. But the dilemma that I have is that's why I'm here. Is if I wasn't accessible, I wouldn't have made it to sell in Orlando and all that. Because what brought me
you
to
have
that
to be accessible now in the mindset and where you are in your mind, where you know you've gone, where you are actually, and do it from there.
Right.
You can't, you know, you do get to a point, I've been there, bro, where you feel like you're dumbing yourself down.
And that's what it is. Like, I just feel like I'm not
this isn't my value.
Yeah. Like I'm not adding anything to you. Like at the end of the day, you're doing these ad campaigns every 2 months. Like I had this conversation
with somebody recently on the podcast, and it's very real, bro. I have felt this. It's given me some significant anxiety over the years, like legitimate panic attacks, because it's behind closed doors how I feel. But you know, when you're somebody who you give your energy to everybody, bro, and I am,
I got nothing back.
Well, you feel the feeling of helping somebody is something, right? So yes, that's what you get back in the moment. But what happens is they're missing energy. They're missing something, and then they're pulling. You got 100 people, let's say 150 for your sake, right? That are taking a little bit of your energy and adding it to them. So they're getting something out of it. There's value that they're getting. For you, little by little, it really pulls it all out of you, bro, until you crash, and then you crash.
Yeah.
And you might crash. You know, I'm about to be 36, right? So when I tell you I went through some real anxiety, bro, from growing up, having to, you know, stop partying. That was one. And then stopping the partying stopped me from being around.
When last time we talked in the office, you had a pretty wild adolescence. Like,
yeah, dude. Correctly. And not a lot of people really know the depth of it. Like, I've opened up and shared from time to time. If people have seen it, it's out there, or heard it, it's out there. But like,
he was outside.
No, I was outside.
Like,
but from here.
Yeah.
So I'm from here, similar to you, right? The burbs, right?
Yep.
I'm from here, and in my parents were like, "What the? What do you?" But my parents were awesome in the sense that they trusted me and believed in me.
I didn't speak to them for 3 years.
Your parents, yeah, that's not good.
You know, and it's like it just. And
the older you get, the more you realize how important that relationship is.
The Office, though, like I don't think they fully got it until The Office.
Well, now it's real.
Right.
Now it's
like,
real.
I'm like my.
How are they supposed to know?
Year did more than his.
How are they supposed to know?
Exactly.
How are they supposed to know you're good?
Smoke and mirrors.
They don't know.
Right.
And when there's a mindset that it's done a certain way,
they just see his story all the time. See illegal activity, you know, me doing BS, you know what I mean? You remember the strip club I used to be in, like, you know, like that. Like, and they're seeing that, you know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, what are you doing? Like,
because it's on the surface. It's only what they see.
And every time I had a conversation with them was, yo, you're going down the wrong path. You're going down the wrong. And I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, I'm gonna see y'all when I got this shit figured out. You know what I mean?
But now it's funny. You get a little older and you look back and you're like, it's not that they were wrong.
Right.
It's
it was
that
just worry. They're parents.
And their care for you is far more, whether it's with an understanding or not, it is far more. And even now,
like, one of my favorite things to do is to like tell them about what's been happening. You know what I mean? Like, they're coming out here next weekend because it's my dad's birthday. And you know, the 130 Club in Tenafly.
It's my favorite restaurant in the area, bro.
Right. You know what I mean?
But when I tell you my favorite,
have you been to the back?
I sold them 7 rooms.
Really? That's crazy. Have you been to the back then?
Yeah, the bookshelf.
18,000 a
year.
Yeah. Oh no. That's so.
The cigar spot.
The $18,000
so that's new. That's new. Yeah. That's new.
That I like being in there because they let you smoke weed in there. So like, there's the cigar lounge in the back. It's a full restaurant. They use the same kitchen in the front, but then in the back of the cigar lounge is the weed room.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? It's like you can either pay 18 grand a year to be a member, or you can pay 200 per the table, plus $50 a person. So
gotcha.
It's fun now to be like, oh yeah, like I found this new restaurant, like bring my parents down because my dad smokes. I'll give him his first indoor restaurant smoke. And it's like fun now now that I'm established and it's like fun to go back and be like, all right, yeah, like, you know, come share some of my experiences. You know what I mean? Let's go live. Like, I'll give you a mini night of like what hip hop looks like for the night. Let's go smoke weed in a restaurant
at
$1,000 a table restaurant.
I don't think I've ever spent less, even with 2 people, less than $450, $500.
I took Chelsea, my wife, and her friend for her birthday on the 18th. It was a $750 bill.
It's ridiculous, bro. So that's like
good. Like, it's really, really good.
It is. It is mine and my wife's favorite restaurant in New Jersey.
It's like it's up there, you know.
It's way up there.
Like it's like,
and the price is way up.
Oh yeah, the price is. I mean, because and realistically, like, I was a big Capital Grill guy. As far as like for that type of meal,
great too.
Yeah, because
not 130 Club though.
For me, I care more about, and even like, and I feel like we kind of share the same sense. Like, I'm the type of guy that, like, I'm going to the Capitol Grill, like, where's the manager at? Like, I'm Logan.
I want a little personal.
Like, I'm me. Yeah, like, I own this record label, and I'm different than all your other customers. So like, you should be my friend. You know what I mean? And I build these connections with these people, and then, like, you know, I like the little, like, all right, yeah, like, if I just called this restaurant right now and asked for a table tonight, they'd say they were sold out, but like, I know they'll give me one because they know and whatever, and like. And it was interesting now I'm going over there, and I went with Orlando, and you know, Orlando's not a small person. It was a $7,000 dinner that we had that night. And it was like,
I hope he helped you.
Yeah, no, he paid for it. He paid for the whole thing. It was a tax write-off at the end of the year. It was literally New Year's Eve.
Okay.
It was the last bill of the year.
Expense.
You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, we went and did it, and I'm like, tax all right, purposes. Now, like, I got this new restaurant. These guys let me smoke inside. So it's like, it even like you're talking about, we were talking about outside, like, I'm doing the same thing in my town. Like, I went and met the mayor of my town. I offered him some free videos that we're going to do. I met the police chief in the town. We're going to give them some free videos. Like,
best, man.
And I feel like that's the other thing that a lot of young business owners don't do, is they forget that such a big part of running a business is networking with the local area. Whether nobody in Fairfield is ever going to be my customer. I shoot music videos and do rap promotion.
No, but you have your business there.
Exactly. They should know me. And it goes a long way. Like, we have a great relationship with the Fairfield Police Department. The Fairfield Police Department has pulled over 15 or 20 of my clients and employees over the year and have issued no tickets.
Wow, that's great.
They have never, they always say, yo, what do you, it's because it's always 2 in the morning, 1 in the morning. Like, yo, what are you doing here? Yo, the studio. Oh, over. Oh, 12 Daniel. Like, oh, yeah. Have a good night, man. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like, they pulled, I don't know if you've ever seen the dude MBG Shea that I posted, but they pulled him over.
Yeah.
No license, not no license, no registration, tints, snow on the top of the car, no insurance. They're like, all right, bro, just get your shit handled. You know what I mean? Like, have a good night. You know
See,
what
but
I mean?
that's
And if I connected with the town, that wouldn't happen.
No.
They'd be like, yo, fair 12 Daniel Road, what's over there?
Yeah.
Hip hop label, ho, ho, ho. You know what I mean?
They'll sink their teeth into that.
Yeah. And like, I'm like, yo, like, because the other day, you know, there's always, it's a road that we're on. So in a road, there's construction. Everywhere there's construction, what is there? The police officer that gets paid to sit out there all day. So it's like, all right, yeah, come upstairs. Come look at it. You know what I mean? Let's talk for 20 minutes. You know what I mean? Tell me about you. Why are you a police officer? Why Fairfield? Da-da-da-da-da. Like, here's me. Here's why I'm here. And then it's like there's these mini connections. Like the room that I'm in used to be a jewelry store. They all remember going to the jewelry store for the false alarms.
Wow.
Oh, somebody accidentally opened the door the wrong way. Oh, you guys all right? Oh, we used to go up there once a week to go check on them because their alarm would be their silent alarm.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, you're in their room? Oh, what did you do with it? Oh, da-da-da-da-da. Oh, recording studio. Oh, da-da. You know what I mean? Like And the first time I went to the town of Fairfield, they said, recording studio, not in our town. We don't do that here.
Wow.
And I was like, oh. And the only reason I even got my occupancy permit, the only reason I got my occupancy permit is because it was, I moved in February of 2020. What happened in March?
Oh, COVID.
You know? So they said, oh, nope, no more inspections. Just file your paperwork and we'll just send it to you in the mail.
Wow.
As they inspected me and saw our studio, he already told me we're not giving you the ability to have a studio here. We don't want it in our town.
That's
and
a
they're
blessing,
like, damn, you have your permit. And then they fired the guy that did that because it was, you can't do that. You know what I mean? Like, that's wrong.
Yeah.
Because other people were opening up businesses they weren't supposed to because they weren't doing the inspections. And a year ago, they fired the guy, brought a new guy in. He came in. I want everybody's certificate of occupancy. There's 30 people on the floor. I want everybody's certificate. I was the only one that had one.
Wow.
So they were like, all right.
Did they get everybody out?
You're good. And then they just have to pay. It's money.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? What they wanted was the $300 for the occupancy permit, one-time fee, and then the $200 a year for the fire safety.
Well, that's money.
You know? So
especially
they're like
30
times 200, that's $6,000 a month out of this building. Yeah, we need that. So they're coming in, and I had my shit squared away. I'm like, I'm good. And they're like, oh, shit, like, that's cool. And that's why they now call me the mayor of the building, is because guess what else they did? They were walking around like, for example, I don't know how this room passed inspection because there's no fire sprinkler in here. Shh. You know, take that out.
But it's like, I don't care.
But realistically, like, that was the problem, is I had a lot of rooms that didn't have sprinklers in. There needs to be a sprinkler in every room for New Jersey Fire Code. Every 8.5 feet, there needs to be a sprinkler in. So they are walking around.
It's right there.
They're walking around and they're like, "That's $1,000 fine." Like Oprah,
they are.
That's a fine. That's a fine. That's a fine. We're gonna close this building down. And I'm like, I'm in this building. Like, you can't close the building down. I come here every day. Like, and I'm going through, and the building owner, they're like, yeah, fuck the fire department. Like, they're not going to do nothing. And then the fire department's there, and they're like, yeah, like, we're going to do something. And I'm like, well, they don't think you are. And they're like, all right, well, this is exactly what we're going to do. Code 101-3C says that if this isn't solved in 90 days, you get a $5,000 a day fine for 30 days. And after 30 days, we condemn the building. And they were like, that I'm telling you that's going to happen. And I'm like, I go down to the building. I'm like, yo, this is what they're telling me is going to happen. They're like, nah, they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. So I'm like, all right, we're not doing this. So I called the sprinkler company. I called the architect. I got an architect to come out. And then I'm basically like, yo, like, here's the bill.
You're doing what the building owner is supposed to do.
And then they're like, oh, yeah, he's the mayor. That's the mayor. That's the mayor. You know, and they call me the mayor of the building, because if I didn't step in to get those sprinklers in, that building would be condemned.
But you're taking responsibility. That's you don't have to do that.
I did, because I would have been kicked out.
I'm saying you
shouldn't have
you shouldn't have to do it.
Exactly.
You do because you care about making sure you have your space.
Exactly.
That guy, the owner of the building, didn't even care about owning the building.
No, because the owner of the building lives in Colorado.
Oh, yeah,
you know, so they're
like another
like,
property.
Get the fuck out of here. Property management company. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, I got the building up to fire code, and now I see the fire marshals and they're like, yo, like that guy's fucking awesome. You know what I mean? Like I remember because there's the fire marshals and then there's the chief. So the other day we had a major problem on the road. It was cold and one of the mains exploded. I'm sure you're old enough to have seen that before.
It happened not too long ago.
Right. So the main exploded. You know what I mean? It's cold. The mains are old. The water freezes, unfreezes, whatever. So the main exploded and we're outside and it's like I see, you know how this stuff works. The gold letter guy. I'm like, oh, he's got gold letters. The other ones all have silver letters. So that's the one in charge. So I'm just, hey, how are you? I see my guy that I fixed the building with. I honestly forget his name. But I seen the guy that I had the building fixed with, and he's like, yo, you got to come meet the guy that my boss, you know what I mean? And he's like, yo, like, this is the only reason this building is still standing. He was like, it was this guy. This is the guy that did this, that, the third. He's the one that helped me do this. He was friendly, da-da-da-da. And now I have this connection with these people, and I have this connection with these people.
Yeah.
And I have more fun doing that than I have dealing with these $125 bozos.
Yeah, because that's a different...
You know, it's fun to be like, I did that.
Navigating. You know I mean? It's funny because I have my partner with Destination Happiness, right? And I love him. He's my business mentor. We're very different, like super buttoned up. He's like CRO of a company. I'm like the wheeler and dealer networker, right?
Yep.
And I'm always coming to him with like, yo, I met this person. I met this person. Yo, we could do this and da-da-da-da. And he's like, yo, he just wants me to slow down as much as possible. I don't know how because that's what I love.
Networking.
When I say love, if I got paid to network, I would be a billionaire.
Yeah.
You know, it just doesn't always pay you. It can. That's the thing though. I look at like opportunity. I look at the world as my oyster.
Yeah.
And I don't like to limit my opportunity.
You can't.
I just choose not to. I think a lot of people, stay focused, keep doing this. I just choose not to, bro. Like if I like somebody for one, like if I don't ever like to use somebody. So it's great to know somebody. It's great to have a connection. They could be super wealthy. They could be the plug. They could be whatever the hell it is. Great. Don't get me wrong. Great. And I'll keep them there, but I don't always want, if I happen to like you though, and I feel that you like me and what was supposed to be a 20-30 minute conversation turns into a 3-4 to another meeting the next, and there's some synergy there, that wouldn't happen without me spending the time calling my wife and being like, remember when I told you I was gonna be home at 6? Right. Yeah, I'm gonna be home at like 8:39. You always do this. I can't help it, bro. Yeah. I'm engulfed in it. Yeah, I'm engulfed in it.
That's how I feel. Like I do the same type of shit. Like, I get to the office at 7 a.m. I'm supposed to leave between 5:30 and 6. And, sometimes I'll just look down and at 7, I'll be like, oh shit,
what happened?
You know what I mean? Like, damn, like that phone call wasn't supposed to go that long. But when I'm in the moment, I don't realize what's going on.
No, I love it. I pride myself in flow states, bro. Like I have them in moments. I have it when I'm on a stage, when I'm on a football field, a basketball court, when I'm networking and having these meetings. Like those are moments that, because I'm crazy. Yeah. I know I'm crazy. So when I'm stagnant, when I'm not doing enough, or my mind.
Yeah,
I need to keep my mind in a. I need to not be thinking. Yeah. I need to be being.
Yeah.
That's my happiness. That is where I'm at my best. Yep. That's when I feel good. So we relate there tremendously, bro.
Yeah, that's what people, that's what I feel like a lot of people, my age specifically, they just don't value.
They're scared.
Those type of connections.
Most people don't even have, I think they do. I don't think anybody doesn't value them. I think they are not equipped to retain them.
Right. And on top of that too, like it's a different type of converation talking to somebody that's 50 years old.
Those people, age for one, experience, wisdom, financial, how much money somebody has, how much power somebody, to sit in that room and understand the dynamic with where you're at, who they are, respect, timing, what you say, what you don't say, and build. That takes a lot of experience, bro. It does. I wasn't always that way. Like I was always a networker and a fun person, but like to be able to navigate in those rooms,
that's different. You know, I mean, to be able to go into something like a 130 club and convince them to use your service instead of whatever they're using, you know,
it's all energy, bro.
And it's just
confidence, energy, real. Don't tell them you can do something you can't.
Yep. If that's a lot of false promises.
False promises
with this industry and the music is that most people they don't think to the end. You know, they think like how instant gratification, figure out the problem.
Yeah. What's now?
Yep.
I respect the shit out of that, bro, and I love that because it's like it makes me tick.
Yeah.
I wake up every morning wanting what's next, you know?
That's the only way to be. Because if not, you just, you know, you got to have something to focus on because you'll lose yourself if not. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I hope everybody can find themselves because I don't think everybody has. I think this world is loaded with distractions. I think, you know, social media has created a hub for people to think of what
social media has given people that have no business having a voice.
Correct.
You know? And it's leveled the playing field to the point where it's like you no longer have to be an expert to be renowned as an expert. You can just look and sound. You can make yourself, And it's like that type of stuff. And even I'm sure that it exists in your industry the same way that it exists in the music industry. Like there's all these people that say they can do this and that. Like you said, empty promises.
So business is business. Exactly. Go get yours how you got to go get yours. Money's money. You said it first thing we started this podcast was like, does money motivate you? Listen, it motivates the vast majority of people. And if it's going to be what motivates anybody, it doesn't mean it always comes with honesty, integrity. It doesn't always come with that.
Yep.
Sometimes just, you know, I got to go get what I got to get and whatever. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't, for me, money is obviously extremely motivating. You know, it's what supports my family. Right. Peace of mind is like money's a part of that.
Yeah.
Peace of mind is everything for me. Like being very happy with what I do. I want to wake up and want to not look at my day like it's a job.
Right.
I want every aspect of my day to be, you know, like I told my wife, and this is probably the third time I've said it on a podcast, there will come a time I'm buying an RV and I'm gone.
Yeah.
You can come or I'm gone for at least a month.
Yeah.
Because I all these things, I can do all of it from the road.
Yeah.
Everything I want. I just need to, I want to be in one state. I want the next day be in another state. Next day, meet people. Who are they? What are they? Whatever. That's like, it's a goal of mine. It's something that I will get. It's something I will do. My kids are now a part of it. You know, my kid is now a part of it, soon to be hopefully more kids. Yeah, man.
Does your wife work or do you support the family?
No, she works. Nice. She's a hustler.
What does she do?
She gets after. She works for L'Oreal.
Oh, cosmetic?
Yeah, so she works for It Cosmetics specifically. She's in the process of looking into another brand under the L'Oreal umbrella. They're moving out to California, It Cosmetics, so she's not going to go out to California, obviously. So
did she get the offer to?
She got the offer to. She'll get a severance package if ultimately she doesn't get a job with.
Did you guys decide that you didn't want to go to California, or did she decide that she didn't want to go to California?
She wouldn't go to California. I don't really want to go.
Would you have gone?
No. I don't like. It depends where in California, but I don't like. I don't like LA.
And you can cut this out if you want. But what would have happened if she wanted to go and you didn't?
From my perspective, we'd figure it out.
And you would do a long distance type of thing.
I'm much easier in that regard.
Really?
Yeah.
And then would you have kept your son, or would you have sent the son to California?
We would figure it out.
So that's crazy. Like it's like a whole nother layer. You know what I mean?
For one, my wife is. I'm much more of the see the world and take opportunities as they come. My wife is significantly more structured than I am.
You need it that way, though.
It's why why it works.
Did you meet your wife in high school?
Yeah, I was a senior. She was a junior. Yeah, we've been together for 17 years, dude.
Yeah.
And I put her through hell.
Yeah.
The fact she's still with me is nuts.
Yeah, I mean, especially with what she was doing at that time.
She didn't even know. I mean, we didn't live together until we got married. So like a lot of the stuff she didn't feel. She knew it, but she didn't feel it.
Yeah.
But she stuck by my side. I mean, I was a dog in college. I wasn't, good in many ways. I put her through a lot of stuff, and she was very patient with me, whether it hurt her or not. It always did, but like to what extent? She is a trooper, man. She showed me what true love is. She loves me, and a lot of times I overlooked how deep that love was. I don't know if I knew how deep that love was for a long time, and up until even not definitely with the kid, having a son changes everything. Or any kid.
How old is your son again?
3.
3. Yeah. It was kind of recent. I feel.
Yeah, 3. And that's my world. I mean, I think he saved me.
Really?
Yeah, I was in a weird space. I was in a very weird space before he was born.
Did you know he was coming?
Yeah, I mean, for the 9 months leading up to his,
but did you know, like, all right, we're trying to have a son?
Yeah,
we
did IVF.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we did. We were having trouble. We tried for like 9 months. We were having trouble, and then we wanted to go on the IVF route.
And everything was cool.
Everything was good, smooth. I mean,
how was that process like? Finding a medical professional to trust with your seed and like.
Well, she has her OBGYN, so that's some advisory, and then you have RMAs who we went through, and RMA is like the top. Yeah. As far as I know, the top of the line. And for me, it's like you just go through the process. I trust my wife. She does. She knows what. Yeah. It's her. Yeah. She's the one who carries the baby. She's the one who's got to go through a lot of this stuff. It's a process, bro. I have to give her shots for like 3 months straight. Oh, wow. It's crazy. But, we walk away, and this is the crazy part about the science of it. Like, we walk away with 9 embryo.
Wow. So you can use those later?
Whenever we decide we want to have another kid.
Like a freezer somewhere?
Yeah, they're in a freezer. We pay year to year to store them.
Wow.
It's crazy, bro.
Is it expensive to store an embryo?
It's not cheap, but it's not like not worth it.
Yeah. So talking like thousands of dollars?
No. I think it's like $1,000.
Really?
Couple grand
per
year.
Or like, and then you can store as many, or
it's per year for them. It's not per each embryo. One. Yeah, no. As far as I know, unless my wife is like shelling out more dollars that I'm unaware of. No, but it's crazy because we knew 6 girls, 3 boys. Oh. It's like we know.
Oh, so at that point you're playing it like you're.
It's whatever comes. Yeah. So they basically take your sperm, they take her eggs, they do this, and then whatever healthy embryo come out of it. Yeah. And there were 9 healthy embryos. Some only get 1, some get none. Yeah. We got 9. Yeah. So we had 6 girls, 3 boys, and we knew that we want to have 2 kids. So we said to the doctor, like, you pick.
Yeah, wow.
And I'm already.
Like, you had him pick whichever embryo looked.
They
the
know
best.
the top is They know the grading. They know like who's number like. Yeah. And I figured it was going to be girl, just 2/3 chance. So I like already wrapped my head around girl, and then we get a letter home, and it's like literally written, it's a boy. Wow. I was like, yeah, my dog. Like that's gonna be bro, Yeah. But the 9 months leading up to it was headsy for me, bro, and this is incomparable to what my wife goes through or any woman goes through because they're superheroes.
They're feeling it physically and mentally.
We don't know what that feels like at all. We never will. I think there's like my ego a little bit probably got in the way, selfishness to some extent. I think the second that I know the second he came into this world, there was a switch. Yeah. So I didn't feel that switch of what's happening until he was here. She's feeling it. There like, she's feeling it. Shit. No, I'm talking like an instant switch.
Yeah, really.
Instant switch. And for me, I mean, I can only speak for myself.
Like they're like, here's your son, and you're something just like
the rush of joy. I've always wanted to be a father. Yeah. The timing of it was perfect for me. Mm-hmm. I knew I'd be a good father. I care so much about my son. Like he is first. It's the greatest excuse also to tell everybody to fuck off. Yeah. Like I'm busy, you know? It was the timing of it was fantastic, but I was in a weird space because I had just started corporate life, real corporate life after bouncing around as an entrepreneur. I was really frustrated with myself in regards to not finding my identity creatively. I wasn't being as creative as I wanted to be, which is who I am as a person. I was unhappy in a million different ways, and nobody would know this because when I'm out with people, I can turn it on. Yeah. Behind closed doors, I was pretty depressed.
I feel like I'll be the same way sometimes. And that's something that I think that that is a little bit challenging, in a relationship sometimes. And you can tell me if this exists for you, but I think that's one of the biggest, I don't really have issues with Chelsea, but that's one of the biggest problems that we have is she sometimes struggles watching me be in a state where I'm not, I might not be off it, what I mean? I wasn't really off it this morning. I'm gonna be honest with you, that shit at Enterprise pissed me off. The rain was pissing me off. I had to get an Uber. It's just a lot of little, somebody can something horrible can happen. You know what I mean? God horrible, and it won't faze me. But the moment it's you ever seen that? That guy that does the family memes, you know what I mean? Where it's the McFarlanes.
Yeah.
You know the one where it's where he's walking up to his door and he puts the keys in the door and then the keys fall on the ground and then he bends over to pick up his keys and his fucking papers all fall out. Yeah. Things like that will, and I don't know why, but little mistakes like that will send me into a state of just not feeling well more than something that actually should send me into a state of something horrible can happen in the bit. I can cost myself thousands of dollars with a mistake. I can, a client can be late. A client can talk crazy to me. All random things can happen. And it doesn't really faze me, but a couple of well-placed universe mistakes, and I'm done for the day. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what it is.
I feel you, bro.
And it's like, that's the one problem that her and I have, when it's like, she'll see me behind the closed doors, like I don't have to act. That's what I say.
Does she let you have your space? Yeah,
you know, but it's like, and then where it'll struggle is like, you know, we'll be in the office, we'll be in our office, just the two of us. So it'll be like, you know, 10 o'clock in the morning, because I pick her up pretty early. You know, and it's like, all right, like, you know, I'm not, you know, it's having a day, you know what I mean? Having a day can be good or it can be bad. You know what I mean? So that's one of your,
you're damn right.
Go and have a day, you know, that could be either way, you know what I mean? So, you know, I'll be having a day, and then like somebody will come into the office, and I'm not, you know, because I just know how to project myself to the client, like, and I could just do it without thinking about it, like, and I don't like to use the word problem, because I don't think it's a problem. I think it's just a way that it goes. But like, is it difficult for you to be in a state where you may not be, you know, feeling the best, you may not be feeling motivated? Does it create a little bit of a snafu for you, for your partner to see you like that, and then see you go put the face on to do some networking, and then come back from the networking, and it's back to the way it was? You know, it's like, damn, you were just fine with this person, and now you're back with me, and you're all upset. You know what I mean? Because I've been, you know, not for nothing, it's been a pretty tough, you know, couple of weeks. You know what I mean? Just as far as like most of my days, I get up and I am excited to do what I do.
Yeah.
Past couple of weeks, it just hasn't been that way. Like, it's been more of like, you know, like we're saying, trying to figure out how I'm gonna cut this down to be working with a smaller quantity of better people, you know?
Yeah.
And most days I found myself, you know, in a state of just kind of like sulking, you know what I mean? Like when I didn't have to be on, like, it was kind of just like, I didn't really have much to say, you know what I mean? Just was kind of, you know, thinking about the different paths that I was going to take. But then I feel like it's been tough for my partner to watch me be in that state, and then somebody walks in the door and it's like, hey, how are you? Like, oh, I'm great today. Like,
they know the truth.
Right. And then to see the act get put on, but then to see it come back after.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, damn, like, is it me? Am I the problem?
Because they don't deserve it.
Right. Like, is it me? Like, is it when you're around me, you're upset? And it's like, no, like, when I'm around you, I feel like I don't have to act. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to be this super people pleaser. Like, because normally, you know, most days, everything is normal. But I feel like sometimes on days where I do have a little bit more of a struggle, you know, I feel like sometimes it's really challenging for her to watch me be in that state and then put the face on for some random fucking person that's giving me $125 to then, after the person leaves, to be back to the sulk. You know what I mean? Like, do you find the same? Like, is it do you have any resonance with that, or is it just a me thing?
Where I don't have resonance with that is I'm happy pretty much always.
Yeah.
Like, I really am, bro. So I really don't put it, like, when I'm home with my wife, I'm not really ever like having one of those days.
I feel like that's where, and that's the tough part, is that's most of the time where I end up having the day.
My wife's like that.
It's like
my wife. I watch my wife turn it on for her coworkers, and then when she's done with work and she clocks out, you know, she wants her time to decompress.
Yeah.
I'm usually at one speed.
Yeah.
My frustration, my anxiety, the various moments that I've had, as you know, my depressed moments, they come to a head, and it's usually backed by, the truth is, I'm not happy where I'm at.
Right.
Period. I'm not doing enough for myself. I'm sacrificing what I want to do for myself for the sake of, it could be my wife, it could be other people, it could be anybody, and I'm not saying it. So the best thing that I've done over the last 5-6 months, for one, I started going to therapy, which is something I talked about for a minute, and I didn't want to do it because I always thought I knew best. I don't need to talk to anybody.
Right.
But no strings attached. They don't know anything about anything. Open up completely. That's been extremely helpful. And then I go home and I talk to my wife and I say exactly what it is. Not in a moment where I'm depressed or it's going to come out in a way.
Right.
I talk and I say it so that now you understand where my head's at. And so if these moments happen, there's clarity as to why. Right. But I don't wake up day to day in any, like, I really am very good. I mean, he'll tell you very often, I'm a passionate, in the moment person. You'll get exactly what you get almost always. I've just learned that communication is the most important thing. It's everything.
Yeah.
You know, the people you love, the people that you're doing business with, say it as it is. You know, if I say what I feel and I've come to the conclusion that that's the way that it is right now, and from my perspective, the worst that can happen is that whoever it is on the other side takes it the wrong way. But you know what? I can live with that. That's the closure that I need.
Right.
So I'm cool, right? I think you need to open up and have a conversation with your wife when it's not a moment.
Yeah.
You probably need to say it in a way, hey, listen, this is who I am, because she isn't doing anything wrong.
No.
By reacting to, she doesn't know how to make that better right now for whatever reason.
I mean, realistically, like, that's another challenging part, is that when I do find myself in a state where I, you know, feel like I could be doing more, feel like things would be better, there really isn't, there's nothing that can be said that can like take my mind out of that. Like, until I just, what really will change it is, like, it's sad to say, it's like an incoming transaction, you know what I mean? Or just like something going the right way. Like, it takes an action externally to be like, all right, nah, everything's all right, you know what I mean? But if not, sometimes I find myself in a state where I'm just like, damn, like, why didn't I do this today? Why couldn't I do this?
You've navigated, so at 20, when I was 28, my music got pulled from me. All of my artistry got pulled from me. So when I moved in with my wife after we got married, she lives struck, like 9 to 5 is the thing, right? And so I wound up going that route. She really, for a long time, had no idea how much it affected me that I changed so much for this.
Yeah.
I changed my makeup, my being, the way I operate, the way I am happy, the way I choose to do everything for the sake of this. And I'm super happy I did for so many reasons, but I'm the one, you know, who was closed off, not speaking on it, not sharing my thoughts, deep down depressed, because I don't want to be in bed at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. I fucking don't.
Yeah.
And it took honestly,
I got to get out of the bed at like 7, 8.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, like, I switched my entire life for marriage and for family. And in so many ways, it gave me a perspective necessary to be who I am today and find a balance that is necessary, because I love my wife and she's my best friend and I want to make everything work. But she had no idea how much it affected me.
Right.
It really affected me a lot, no matter how much money I make, none of that. What mattered to me the most is that I felt confined.
Yeah.
And until I really opened up and talked to her about it, how was she ever going to understand?
That's a true fact, yeah.
And it took a long time to get to that point. So my advice would just be, like, really communicate with her, especially because that's somebody that you have to. Right. If you want to be with her, and you guys you have to figure it out. And there's only one way to figure it out, and that's communication.
It's crazy. It's been like this 2-week slump, you know?
You'll be all right.
I don't know. I just got to...
You've been in worse slumps?
Yeah, definitely.
You know, and so you put that...
It's just the first time that the home has been involved in the slump, you know? And I mean, usually I'm able to separate it, you know?
You got to communicate. You know, she doesn't deserve it. So one of the things you can always do is say, hey, listen, I'm sorry that I've made you feel any which way. I don't mean to do it, you know? These are the reasons that I feel the way that I feel, and I have no problem opening up to you, you know, and sharing this with you, because what she's supposed to be is a crutch for you, and you're supposed to be a crutch for her in ways that it doesn't have to be explained to anybody else. Right. It's so that you can step out of that house and be at your best and know that you're coming home to what feels even better. You know what I mean? It's communication, bro, and everything in life is communication.
Rules the nation, right?
Communication rules the nation, and lack of it destroys it.
Absolutely.
And that goes in top to the bottom, bro. Yeah. But listen, before
that's a good place to wrap it.
Yeah, it's a great place to wrap it. Where can people find you? You know, reach out to you. As a matter of fact, don't reach out to Logan anymore.